The furry jacket is back because Bitcoin looks like it could be heading for another little crypto winter. And really, I want to break this down for you and tell you exactly what I'm seeing right here with the Bitcoin chart. Because unfortunately, coming off the back of my last video, Bitcoin did end up finding resistance at this diagonal resistance line right here that I was outlining for you guys. It did get rejected from the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud that I was outlining for you guys, and I think that Bitcoin still does have a chance at recovering. It's just it's painting a really ugly chart right now, so I want to break this down for you bit by bit to tell you exactly where I think we're going to go. Are we going to be able to recover back up? Will we get rejected if we do, or are we going to be falling flat through the floor down to perhaps around the $44,000 level? There's quite a lot that I want to talk to you about in this video, so stick around. And I really need to sneeze, but I can't. But back to the chart right here. So what I want to break down for you is actually I'm going to stick on this Coinbase chart for just a minute. There's two things that I think Bitcoin could be doing right now, and the first thing I've already covered it with you. This is more of the bullish thing, and I just want to start with it. I can't make up my mind on what I think Bitcoin is doing right now. It's confusing the hell out of me, to be quite honest with you guys, because I'm seeing Bitcoin trading in a bit of a kind of descending channel that looks a little bit like this, where essentially, as I've shown you guys in the previous video, Bitcoin trending down very quickly, then trending down a lot slowly, potentially indicating that momentum is reversing and we might get a pump to the upside, right? And this is where I gave you the analogy of like a missile, first moving up very, very quickly and then plateauing a little bit, and then bam, it just drops down with gravity. And that's kind of what I'd be expecting here in reverse, and that's something I mentioned to you guys in the last video. Now, if you didn't get to watch that, you're probably not subscribed, you're probably not engaging with these videos, so go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and you will keep getting all these videos exactly when you need to see them. And so I think that Bitcoin is still in this kind of pattern right now. It's just that this is not a very long-term pattern, and this is why, like, especially as we're at the bottom of it, and I'll dive into this bit of price action right here, which is so bearish in my opinion, that I'm a little bit concerned about it, right? But one of the key things that I want to just get onto your radars right now is that if we look at the length of time that Bitcoin has been in this kind of descending channel, we've been in it for about 11 days, right? And so it's not a short-term chart pattern, but it's also not super long-term. And within that time frame already, we've already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits of support and 1, 2, 3, 4 hits of resistance, right? So my point is we've tested this quite a lot of times now, and I don't know how much more this line can act as resistance. And that means it would be, potentially, I think that this line is probably getting weaker as resistance. We might be able to penetrate it fairly soon and break up. But equally, I don't know how much longer this line can act as support. And, the key thing that's got me concerned right now is if we move us back to this chart right here that I've really been focusing you guys on recently, I'm seeing Bitcoin, in this kind of descending triangle. Just pay attention to this red line moving down right here and this yellow line offering support for Bitcoin. Bitcoin kind of actually doing what it did before. This is something I was drawing your attention to just in the last video as well, which is that Bitcoin was in a pretty nice kind of descending triangle pattern right here, where it was trending downwards, highs were getting lower, the floor was staying the same, and then about midway through, we got a breakdown, but it was only a fake out, and we came back, and then we finally got the crash down. And Bitcoin it's really surprising right now. Bitcoin is doing the same thing, right? I mean, we're forming the same descending triangle. I just want to draw this to you on a different chart because there's a lot of clutter on this chart right now, and I don't want to confuse you guys or give you anything that's potentially misleading. And so I just want to draw another one right here, and this time the support, I'm actually going to draw it using a box instead of a line, because the support is a little bit more than just one dead-on price level. And you can see quite clearly right here that Bitcoin has been in this kind of descending triangle pattern, and we have actually broken down below it multiple times, and if we take a look at the support range right here, we bounced off the support area right here, kind of between 47.2 all the way up to $48,000. We found support here, and then again over here, and then over here we dropped down. We got that fake out, right, which is exactly the same as this fake out right here. We got the same thing, but then the market surprisingly was able to recover back up, and actually there was a lot of manipulation right here. The price very quickly zipping up, trading sideways, zipping down, zipping back up. I mean, just destroying people who were trading in the market at that time, and then finally finding resistance up here and now dropping back down again. And really, this is what's got me concerned, right, is the fact that Bitcoin already dropped below this area of support once, and yes, fine, you know, we were saved by the grace of God, which is absolutely beautiful. But again, you know, like, to be pushing it again, to me, is just not a good sign. I'm just not comfortable with that. And again, you know, when we start to consider on a chart like this where the resistance is, it doesn't look too good. On the Ichimoku cloud, for example, with the 4-hour time frame, it's just continuing to move down and down and down, right? I mean, if Bitcoin even manages to attack the upside again, it's going to find resistance now at about $48,500, whereas previously that resistance was at $49,500. And so you can really see how the market is you know, continuing to find resistance at lower and lower levels, right? This descending triangle that I was warning you guys about from way back, definitely proving to be very, very much true in this market right now. And guys, if you appreciate that analysis and you appreciate me putting that on your radar since a long time ago, then again, just do me a favor, smash up the likes for the algorithm right here, hit up the subscribe button as well if you haven't already done so on this YouTube channel. And then the other thing that's got me pretty concerned is just looking at a little bit of the candles, you know, just to get an idea of what the feel is in the market. I mean, there's a pretty clear you know, bounce of support right here. And actually this bounce, by the way, I just want to show you where we bounced off from, is exactly the same area of support that I've had drawn on my chart for a long time. Bam, right here. Look at how beautiful that is. Bitcoin finding support at my exact support line right there. But then the very next candle in the 4-hour time frame, this is a huge bearish hammer, right? I mean, the price basically rallying all the way up into this green box, which was support and is now potentially turning into resistance. You know, we were able to rally right into that box, and we got a hell of a rejection on this 4-hour time frame candle right here. Now there's still an hour and 20 minutes left on this candle, and so most of you watching this video are gonna know how this candle closes, but I mean, it's going to be difficult for this candle to, you know, close in any bullish way now, in my opinion. There's less than half of the time left in this candle. So, you know, unless something really crazy happens pretty soon, I just don't see this candle closing in any bullish way. And on the 1-hour time frame, it's already been sealed. It's, I mean, it's already a pretty clear rejection for Bitcoin right here, where it was trending up. We got a pretty clear rejection again right here on this 1-hour candle. And then the subsequent 1-hour candle is also not looking amazing. We got 20 minutes left on this candle right here. So I mean, this can very well just kind of form a bull flag and then move up again, and that definitely would not be surprising right now. But the point is that we have especially, you know, on this hourly candle chart, it's even worse. You know, we have quite clearly, you know, dropped below this key area of support with this green box that I'm showing you guys. And you know, I mean, this green box is resistance, right? Previously Bitcoin did find resistance here and then was sent right back down. Now again, this is where all the manipulation started, so the market managed to right back up. But again, I mean, how many times do we get that kind of manipulation? You know, I mean, it's just not something that you can really bank on. It's not something that's, you know, safe or sensible to be expecting, in my opinion. And the key thing is that, I mean, you know, all the trading in this range ends right here at the 46.3 area. You know, as soon as the market is able to drop below this level, it's got a bit of a drop until the next area of support, which is going to be around the mid $45,000 range. But even then, it just actually doesn't really have much support until and unless it drops all the way down to that $44,000 level, which is going to be a little bit lower, right? So we are looking at a potential, you know, fairly serious drop right there. And this is the same kind of areas of support these are the same areas of support that I've been outlining for quite a while right here. Like, you know, basically, like I said, I mean, on the previous chart, well, yeah, it's the same thing right here, 46,200 if the market manages to drop down here. You know, I mean, this is an area of support, don't get me wrong, but it's not a good area of support. It's definitely not a strong one, in my opinion. Actually, I think it's time to remove this line. And so, you know, realistically, I think the market could be in for quite a sizable drop, especially if this kind of, you know, this rejection sticks. And I think that it would make a lot of sense if it did. Pardon me. And so, you know, that could, you know, I mean, that's a fairly large drop, right? In terms of percent, that's a 5% drop. And if we look at the fear and greed index, this is something that I found a little bit interesting, right? If we let this update, it dropped down to a reading of 23. Now, I don't want to read too much into this because it's not actually designed to be read as closely as I'm reading into it right now. But yesterday I was warning you guys that 29 is roughly where this thing peaks, and usually we see a little bit of a drop after that. And so that ended up being absolutely true. But 23, I don't think that's a low enough reading. I mean, you know, we were we were setting lows a little bit lower than this, you know, a reading of 16 right here, a reading of 21 right here, a reading of 16 again over here. And so I think that, you know, we might have a little bit more to drop in terms of people becoming more fearful in this market. And you know, the only other thing that really kind of combats this idea that I'm putting forward, the only thing that really you know, makes me unsure about this is, like I showed you yesterday, the funding rates are quite low right now in terms of, I mean, like, you know, a lot of people are bearish in the market. And so I don't like being bearish when the masses are, you know, but it's also worth putting this into perspective, right? I mean, it's not like it's absolutely crazy right now. People have been way more bearish in the past, you know, but it is definitely still fairly high. I mean, we're at similar levels to what we've been at, you know, in this previous kind of crypto winter right here. You know, we're kind of at the same place at the moment, only about as extreme as we were when we were trading up here. We're just on the opposite side of the extreme right now. So, you know, the key thing to keep in mind is that funding rates can be quite high and the market can keep rallying higher, right? Look at this, funding rates very, very high over here, and the market just keeps rallying up from, I mean, the funding rate started to go pretty high, let's say on the 11th of October when the Bitcoin price was at about 55, and we managed to push all the way up to 70 before we saw a real correction in the funding rate. And so, you know, I mean, this can stay, you know, negative for quite a while before the market actually reverses up, and so that's something I want to make clear to you, right? It's not like it's immediately you know, showing us that it favors the bull, so we should immediately be rallying up, right? I mean, if you look at what happened over here, funding rates were negative for a very long time, even negative all the way up until over here, which is, you know, roughly similar levels to where we're at right now, and then the market started to rally up. So again, just showing you guys that, you know, in the short term, I'm still, you know, not super happy with the trend. I'm not very optimistic about the trend, but long term, you know, really, it's very clear to me that this thing is going to start reversing and rallying upwards. I mean, I don't see anything else happening in the long term other than Bitcoin, you know, potentially just kind of picking up this uptrend again. I'm just looking for, you know, perhaps a little bit of a double bottom, and then bam, we blast off, you know, something a little bit like that. 4-hour candle just looking worse and worse as I go on through this video as well. You know, one of the key things that I would want to see on this chart is, I want to start seeing Lux Algo. You guys know that I've been using this indicator a fair bit recently. I want to start seeing Lux Algo flip to become a little bit more bullish. Show me some bullish signs right here. Now on the daily time frame, it's worth noting that it did actually give a sell signal somewhere here. Where is it? Let's wait for it to load up. Bam, right here, it gave a sell signal, and then gave the take profit warning right here. So you know, giving the sell signal, very nice. Giving the take profit signal, this is what I was looking for, potentially indicating to me that you know, the strength of this trend could be kind of getting ready to reverse. You know, obviously if you're taking profits, you're going to be taking profits in anticipation of, you know, the risk building up that the market continues moving back up again. This is a real stretch. I mean, this isn't actually the most important sign ever, but look, like previously there was absolutely nothing bullish on the Lux Algo indicator, and at least we're starting to see that potentially flip around a little bit. Although, yeah, I mean, right here, another strong sell right here. So it's not like this is looking particularly amazing. And it's just, I mean, you know, even on the shorter time frames, you just can't make a bullish chart out of what's going on right now. And that's because we've been in such a bad trend for a while. And so, you know, one of the things I really want to see is this indicator flipping to be bullish, because, you know, in the bull markets, when we get these strong signals, you can see how well they've been working, right? Obviously, this one went very badly, but generally tending to work out quite well inside of these bull markets, right? You're not really going to be paying attention to the sell signals when you're in a bear market. Even the strong sell signals, you're just never really going to be paying attention to them as much as you would be paying attention to the buy signals that you get in these markets. And I think that's very important to keep in mind, because on the whole, they've been working out really, really well. And the key thing to keep in mind is that you know, these candles, they're going to start turning purple if the market reverses. This is a sign that, you know, the trend is starting to reverse, and as soon as they start turning purple, that's when we get these strong buy signals coming back in. And so, you know, we're not very far away from it. The key thing that I've been talking to you guys about in these videos for quite a while now, and actually I didn't say it recently, but obviously it still applies 100%, is that the level to beat in this market to become bullish every time we drop gets lower, right? Like previously we had you know, we dropped below the $64,000 level, and then I was saying the market needs to recover back above here in order to be bullish. But then we dropped below that. We dropped below 60K. So then I said the market needs to rise above here to become bullish, and then we dropped below that. So I said the market needs to rise beyond this diagonal line to become bullish. But then we crashed below the descending triangle, and so we have a new level to beat. And this is the thing, is that every time we drop lower, it becomes a little bit easier to trigger a bull market again. And you know, right now the key level to beat would be about $49,000, $50,000. As long as Bitcoin's able to rally above that, we're no longer going to be setting a series of lower highs on this chart. And I think that's really, really important to keep in mind, right? As soon as we stop setting lower highs, we're not going to be in a bear market anymore, and that I think is going to be you know, is going to enable this market to rally up really nicely. And especially when you consider that a lot of people who are new in this market have now sold off their crypto. A lot of people have consistently been feeling very bearish for quite a long time. You know, it really is quite a perfect storm for this market to recover back up and start trading to the upside very, very nicely, potentially regaining a lot of what it lost you know, over these past few weeks in the market that we are looking at right now. Sorry, getting phone calls right now. And so that is something which I think is quite important. The other thing that I want to show you as resistance right now on this chart, though, which could potentially be problematic for Bitcoin again, is going to be this 4-hour EMA ribbon, because it could potentially you know, act as resistance for Bitcoin. Again, it has been providing Bitcoin resistance for a fair while now, ever since we entered this descending triangle. And so if we do manage to rise up again, this is the primary issue, is that we might keep on facing it, and that's what really concerns me just for the moment. I'm not as concerned about this resistance as I was previously, because we are losing the spread. If you look at the spread over here compared to the spread over here, it's not as much of a strong spread anymore, so it's not as concerning as it was previously, but still something to keep in mind nonetheless. And of course, you know, beyond that, like I said, I mean, we've got the starting pieces to kind of restart this market to the upside, but I mean, you know, when we zoom in, it's just still a really bad picture in my opinion. It still just doesn't look super optimistic or bullish to me, just given you know, the kind of situation we have here, where we're dropping below support, we're getting rejections and so on. You know, I think I would be a lot more comfortable if Bitcoin was able to recover, you know, quite seriously beyond that $47,000 area. But there you go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, you know what to do. If you want to trade on the same exchange I'm using, then of course it is Bybit, linked down in the description below. You're going to be getting up to $4,100 completely free of charge when you use my referral link in the description down below. All you got to do is make your first deposit. VIP link, also first link down below. But I need to get going now, so I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.